going on. He warned them, of course, of false messiahs. Now, why is that very relevant during that time, to warn them about a false messiah? It is relevant. Do you know if someone came today now and tell you I'm Jesus Christ, you wouldn't take them serious?
That's true.
Yeah?
That's true.
During that time, according to prophecies, they were anticipating a Messiah to come. So it was so easy to lie to people. You understand?
Wow.
Even when he had just died, it was so easy. That's why I say there is a reader relevance to these things. Today there are some people who call themselves Jesuses. But some of them look like even Babasi kid. Because no one cares. You understand?
Yes.
The guy is on some kasasiro is eating, but he calls himself Jesus. You understand? No one really cares. But by then, he said, it could be them. It could be them. You understand? So it was important. You have to understand these things. And this is where now I'm saying, either you'll be logical or non-logical. There were many people who came up claiming they were Jesus. One of them was a guy called Magus. Yeah? And he had a disciple called Simon. If you read actually Paul's letters, this is the guy who called himself the great power of God. Okay? He went on deceiving people. You understand? And he was trying to get money off them. Okay. So there was that guy. They started to surround Jesus' death with conspiracy. You remember where they pay some people and they say, don't tell them he resurrected.
Oh, yeah.
They had to tell them, they had to pay them off. Don't say that Jesus resurrected. These things have always happened with great men. If you've grown up in the era of Bruce Lee, there was some theory that the guy never really died. Tupac. There were always those theories. It's a devil's way.
Yes.
So these things were important, like I'm saying, they were more relevant to those people than they are to us. A guy could come and say, I'm the Jesus you're looking for. In fact, give me John 5:43. There's another guy called Dothias. Yeah? Dothias was also some guy who claimed he's Jesus. Another Samaritan imposter appeared and even promised to show them the sacred utensils of the temple hidden in Mount Gerizim. Told them even those temples, sacred temples, whatever, instruments that we lost.
Yes.
I know where they are hidden. And they could gather followers. I want you to understand that when Jesus came in his time, these guys were under Roman rule.
Yes.
Yeah? So they wanted a Messiah who is a militant guy.
Yes.
Who can save them out of Roman rule. That's why they're asking him even questions like, okay, should we give taxes to Caesar or what? They are trying to incite him, so that now Caesar hates him, since he has a following and he's doing miracles. I mean, he will fight. Until he has angels. If we die, he will resurrect us back. You understand what I'm saying? That is why I believe, some people even believe that is why Judas sold him. He sold him thinking, this guy will get there. He calls the angels. We've seen him. You understand? And he would have eaten the money, but the money is not taken. You understand? That's why Peter is rebuking him. Those things of dying, leave them. We've started a movement. We need to do something. You understand what I'm saying? And he kept on reducing the movement by his teachings. At another point, there is where the whole movement goes away. He's teaching them in John 6 that, if you don't eat my flesh, what? He was in a different frequency. So that is why they actually chose Barabbas and not him. Because Barabbas looked like some guy who can read a revolution.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? If you don't understand this history, these things will be bleak to you.
And he was a thief.
They just chose, they wanted, release Barabbas or no Jesus. The guy just wants to die.
Yeah.
Release for us Barabbas.
Wow.
Because Barabbas could do, he looked like some boy from the ghetto. You can put up a riot and there is change in Kampala. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to tell you. So if you don't get these things, you will put everything in the future and you are agreeing with Ribera, but you're lacking the real revelation. You have to first get these things right.
I have.
And I'm going to explain it in many ways. He says, I have come in my Father's name, and you do not receive me. If another comes in his own name, him you will receive. We had said these
He had
things.
already said it.
That is why he's saying in Matthew, now, understand, if they tell you that I'm in the desert, if they don't believe
Don't
them.
go
If they tell you
there.
I'm in another room,
Yes.
don't believe them. Because he knew by that time he will have died, resurrected, and go to heaven. Do you see now the relevance?
Oh my God.
Do you see the relevance?
Yeah.
Now imagine you come and tell me, Jesus is in the other room. Jesus is in the desert. I won't follow you in the desert. Samaritan imposter who took people to, is it Mount Gerizim, the things that were lost. Yeah? Pilate pursued him. You understand? Because the guy had a lot of people. And he defeated him. This was real rebel groups. There was a guy called Thaddeus. This guy told people to follow him, and the river will divide. Okay? But he was pursued, and his head was cut off. Because these were real rebels. Yeah? And of course, this was under Governor Felix and all of that. That is the Thaddeus guy. Yeah? Remember, I've told you Jesus had prophesied their generation was known to pass away till they've seen these things.
Yes.
So we have to see these things when they are relevant to the
the
Jews
yes. To the
of
one-
that time.
Yes.
Right. Let me tell you also something. If this thing is a global thing, why tell us to escape? If it is global, where are you going to run? It was to a specific people. 150 of the copious pages of Josephus, a Jewish historian, talk about wars and the rumors of wars that were happening during that time. That is also another sign he gave. After Jesus' time, a war broke out between Herod and Aretas, in which the army of the former was cut off. This was an example of a kingdom rising against kingdom. That was Rome against Arabia. Okay? And of course, there preceded pestilences. Because remember, these guys, if you've watched or studied anything to do with the Chinese, the Han's dynasty and all of that, how those guys used to fight. Back in the days, the wars of those days, there could be a large group of these people this side,
Yes.
and a large group the other side, not taking cover. So guys could kill each other, and the dead bodies are left there. And what used to follow is pestilences. Yeah? So there is actually a pestilence that took place when Titus invaded Rome, invaded Jerusalem. So these are things that Jesus he spoke about. Jews at Perea started fighting against each other, and at some point they fought against the Syrians and the Christians. This is an example of nation against nation. You've seen kingdom against kingdom, nation against nation. And in all these incidences, the Jews were specifically killed, because this was a prophecy to them,
Yes.
not even to the Christians, because they were Jews that had received Jesus.
Yes.
This was a prophecy to them, and they were telling them, when you see this happen to the Jews who are not Christians. So, put this in perspective. Now, why is this prophecy very important? Wars and rumors of wars. It would be irrelevant if Jesus was giving it to Jews when at that time they were like South Sudan or Sudan, whatever Sudan, where there were wars already. But in that period of history, they call it the Pax Romana.
I've heard of that.
You've heard of that? Which is the time of where Rome had the most peace. Because, of course, the Prince of Peace was on the earth.
Woo.
You understand? So, this prophecy was very relevant. You understand? When someone tells you, Wonga, Tojira weva. You understand? As in Rome had peace.
Peace.
So, then you'll understand other verses where Paul says when they say peace and all that, sudden destruction. Most of you have gotten all those scriptures and are putting them, but I'm just trying to tell you that your father, if you're doing that, is Ribera Scofield Derby. You didn't invent that.